Do you know why Nazi uniforms are considered the most beautiful and stylish to this day, and continue to influence military uniforms today? And why do many Hollywood films always show the villains wearing a uniform that in itself has caused fear in many people? The story and idea behind Nazi clothing and uniforms begins long before Hitler came to power. Before the First World War, the German Empire was one of the most powerful countries in Europe, competing directly with the United Kingdom to see who would dominate the continent and even the world. Highly militaristic and with traditions from the time of the Prussian state, serving the country, and especially joining the army and having military ranks, was something of high status and respect in Germany, made up of a society with ideas of discipline, order, and militarism. But everything changed with the First World War. Germany, with the most powerful army in Europe, was defeated and humiliated, and its powerful empire fell. But the empire wasn't just a political system, it was a representation of an idea of what Germany should be. Morally and economically, Germany had changed, and the idea of a militaristic, powerful Germany with order and discipline was put aside for a few years. Everything changed when Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party gained more popularity, and after coming to power, they deceived the population by saying that they would make Germany better than it was in the past. And to try to convey an image of superiority, status, and order, the leaders of the Nazi Party knew that they could not dress like street gangs, so they began to wear military-style uniforms, brown and black. Everything had to look perfect, so the uniforms were made of good materials and should fit the person who was using it well. Contrary to what many people think, Nazi uniforms were not designed by Hugo Boss, but by Karl Diebitsch, who was a member of the party. Hugo Boss's main role was actually to manufacture and industrialize the process of creating the uniforms. And among all the Nazi uniforms, the one that draws the most attention is that of the SS. By Himmler, the SS was an elite organization, and its uniforms, inspired by ancient ideals, were the representation of all Nazi power and terror. The uniforms were not just uniforms, they were a way for the Nazis to show that Germany had recovered its honor, status, and power that it once had, and that they would not let anything impure take away from German society. But as everyone knows, behind uniforms and medals, there were piles of bones of the persecuted victims. Everyone in society had to follow the moral codes imposed by the government. Even boys and girls were forced to join Nazi youth organizations, where they had to wear uniforms and serve the nation. Wearing a uniform was a symbol of status and discipline in German society, but all this changed in a few years. With the Second World War, the Soviets were advancing from the east, and the Americans and English from the west. Hitler's 1,000-year-old Reich was destroyed, and with the Allied armies getting closer and closer to Berlin, being caught wearing Nazi uniforms and swastikas was synonymous with being arrested or killed.